Living Well. Once again, as usual, I'm Jessica Shear, and we are continuing our series with the Ozark Center called The Suicide Crisis, Prevention, Information, and Awareness. Stephen and I were just talking. We've been in this like 2 years now. He's a counselor with the Ozark Center. Welcome. Thank you for being here once again.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're so appreciative of that. Again, thank you to Shelby and Dave, our producer, for allowing me to step in every other week and talk about these things, because it's constantly evolving, you know, our emotions and our mental stati, I don't even know. But yeah, so today we were talking about, you know, workplace stress, professions that are high risk for suicide.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, some of the professions that we're looking at are professions that really are dependent on the weather, dependent on a number of elements outside of a person's control.
Wow.
You know, such as producers like farmers, construction workers, and then we have those people that take on large amounts of stress like healthcare workers, especially now. We have police officers, highway patrol.
I feel like those are all outside forces. I never thought of it that way. Is it just because we as humans just want to be able to control things, or what is that about?
Well, I think to some degree, you know, if we have that control, we have that predictability, then we can have that piece of, you know, this is where life is going. I can pay the bills. I know what's going to happen. But when you have a drought that happens that takes out your entire crop, then you're left with barely anything for your family.
I think that's always a surprising one, is that farmers, because we always think of farmers salt of the earth, like they're, you know, rough and tough and they can handle anything. But yeah, that is a really big deal. And
that's actually a risk level, you know, risk factor there is because, you know, we want to make sure that people are reaching out, they're taking care of themselves, and they're asking for help. Because if they try to go it alone, they may not have those additional supports that they need.
Yeah, so what is there for help that people can do?
I would say first it starts with just taking care of yourself. What do you do to decompress? What do you do to take care of yourself? You know, Ann was just here. She was talking about doodling, you know, journaling. Any of those things are good. You know, what do you do to take care of your well-being? Do you spend time with family? I know a lot of times those high risk situations and those high stress jobs, you don't have a lot of time for family. So making that time is beneficial, and then making sure you have somebody to talk to.
Yeah, is it sort of that mental shift? I know we talk about it a lot. You know, how do you just, I think there's sometimes that blockage, like, oh, I don't want to reach out to anyone. How do you make that mental shift?
I think you're just going to have to tell yourself that this is something that I have to talk to somebody about. This is important enough. You know, I need to take time to disengage, to take time for me. It's okay to be, you know, a lot of people think it's selfish, but it's okay to be selfish.
Yeah, sort of, you know, just making sure that that happens. What about those outlets? I know that you were talking about, you mentioned a few here. You know, what are some really healthy outlets other than something that's like self-destructive?
You have exercise. You have, you know, spending time with your dogs. Taking them for a walk. Exactly. I have dogs myself. You know, making time, spending time with kids. You know, we're moving into a good season where you get to go outside, get some fresh air. Those are all really good outlets. Yeah, and you know, the Ozark Center is a great resource as well.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about some of the services that you offer for these like high risk professions.
We have crisis services that's available 24 hours a day. We have a hotline and texting line that's available, and we've just started up an urgent behavioral solutions, which is an urgent care.
Yes, which is a wonderful resource. It's right here in Joplin. There is the information that you need for you. Don't forget that tonight on KSN Local News at 10, our own Deja Brown will have a more in-depth interview with Stephen about this exact topic, and just, you know, taking care of ourselves. We have to make money. We have to have jobs. But we have to take care of ourselves, too.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Well, coming up next on Living Well, it is time for your weather forecast. Speaking of the weather, with meteorologist Chase Bullman. Stay with us. More Living Well is on the way.